I've been telling you guys this is the mega fight. Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Now it's a very, very possible option for Canelo to be fighting. We know he has that 3-fight deal, so he went and got Jermell Charlo. He wants to get Jermall Charlo, the other brother, the other Charlo twin, and then after that he wants Terence Crawford. He's willing to fight Terence Crawford at 168, but no. He's not willing to fight Terence Crawford at 168. Canelo's not willing to do that. Terence Crawford's willing to go up to 168 and fight Canelo. That's the way it should be said, because in all honesty, Terence Crawford's really the one taking all the risk in that fight. Everyone, knows that Canelo talks about how no one's going to give me credit for that fight. Yeah, they will. If you can fight the pound for pound #1 fighter and then beat him, even though he's a small fighter, you're going to make millions of dollars fighting Terence Crawford. That's going to be such a big fight. That's his biggest option right now, to make a lot of money if you're Canelo Alvarez. He's going to make millions no matter what, but to also make a statement and maximize that financial outcome, it's a no-brainer. Fight Terence Crawford. Fresh off that win against Errol Spence Jr., the dominating performance he had, punishing a top pound for pound fighter in the world who took each of his individual belts from all different champions and strapped him up, lined him up, and made a big fight happen. But Terence Crawford, the better man, beat Errol Spence Jr. pretty badly. It was a convincing beating. All the credit in the world to Terence Crawford. But hey, if he's willing to go up to 168, skip multiple weight classes, and fight the big cash cow of boxing in Canelo Alvarez, the face of Mexican boxing right now, potentially the best fighter that Mexico's ever had, to go jump up and take that risk, man, there's no one else doing it like that. Like, Canelo did it in a way, but also there was no big lion waiting for Canelo. Do you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't taken the David Benavidez fight. A lot of people are going to give him a lot of, crap about that, and I understand, but at the same time, you guys have to realize that I think he's going to make more money fighting Terence Crawford than he would fight Benavidez. I know that Benavidez and Canelo is the fight that we all wanted to see happen, whether it's 68 or 75, but Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, that's pound for pound status. That's #1 pound for pound. Whoever wins that fight, that's the #1 fighter in the world. I don't care. Inoue can be doing his thing, moving up multiple weight divisions. That's fine and great. I'm talking about real opposition. That's what I take into account. He could do all that damage at featherweight, bantamweight, but once he comes up to 130, 35, that's when we'll really get to see, because those are where the heavy hitters are. I expect him to do his thing at 30 and potentially even 35, but right now I still have Terence Crawford as my #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Inoue's ahead of Canelo, but if Canelo beats Crawford, then I'd put Canelo #1, Crawford #2, and then Inoue #3. It's just the opposition that really I take into consideration personally when I consider the pound for pound list. But Canelo Alvarez, willing to do that. I honestly thought he was gonna try to avoid that fight, but maybe he'd rather fight Terence Crawford than fight David Benavidez. Maybe both of those fights are, on the table for Canelo Alvarez. But they're such big fights. I think that they're too big for Canelo to ignore. I think that he knows in the back of his mind he wants that credit that he deserves. The people are going to continue to talk. If he doesn't fight Terence Crawford, they're going to continue to talk. If he doesn't fight David Benavidez, if he doesn't fight David Morrell, maybe loosely on David Morrell. I think if Canelo goes in, he beats Terence Crawford, he beats Jermall Charlo, which that's probably the easier fight of all three. But the David Benavidez fight, those fights, he wins all those, he might be pound for pound #1 again, because that's undeniable. Fighting such talented fighters, such well-known and high IQ fighters, cream of the crop, like, it doesn't get better than that. So if it's true that Canelo wants to make those fights happen within his next 2 fights within the 3-fight deal, Crawford and the other Charlo brother, and then after that maybe get David for a one last hurrah, and then leave the sport of boxing, I wouldn't be mad at that. That'd be fine and dandy for me. I'd love to see Canelo, just do his thing. I don't even need to see the Charlo fight. Go straight to Terence Crawford, fight David Benavidez, call it a career. You've had a great career. He wins both of those fights. You're telling me he's not pound for pound #1? I don't see a case where Canelo's not pound for pound #1. If he beats Terence Crawford and David Benavidez, for me, that there's no argument against the fact that he's pound for pound #1 at that point. But it's a tough and tall task. How do you go about beating a guy like Terence Crawford? Tim Bradley said it best. Terence Crawford's so intelligent inside that ring. He really showed it you know, against Errol Spence Jr., he's going to be able to telegraph a lot of those shots coming from Canelo. So Canelo's going to have to really change up that strategy. Everything he does with those heavier weights, he's not going to be able to do it against a lighter weight in Terence Crawford. But Terence Crawford's taking a big risk. We know that there are weight classes for a reason, and how will he hold up when those heavy shots are landing on him, if they do land? Because let's also remember, if Terence doesn't want to get hit, he won't get hit. And stylistically, I think he has too many tools for Canelo, and I would pick Terence Crawford to beat Canelo, to be honest with you guys, even at 168. I understand there are weight classes for a reason, but I think Terence is just he's too talented right now. Yeah, I don't think anyone can beat him. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, mega fight. It's obviously on the table for Canelo. He now announced, so that's great news. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Who do you guys have, Canelo or Terence Crawford? But I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.
That's going to do it for another NASFight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.